nervous, but this time I'm the rawest version of myself that I've ever been. I'm not walking out.
Skincare brand spent 10 years selling Hayden Panettiere's face to the world. Then she opened up about postpartum depression and they wanted her. Gone for years, she never said why out loud until months before she died, at 36. And to understand why that decision still enrages people, you have to know what Hayden meant to them. She practically grew up in your living room. Her first commercial aired before she turned 1. She was 11 months old. As a kid, she was already in films like Remember the Titans and Bring It On. She was the cheerleader who couldn't die in Heroes. She was Juliet on Nashville, a role that earned her Golden Globe nominations. She survived the Scream movies. She even voiced Kyrie in the Kingdom Hearts video games for a whole generation. She was America's sweetheart, and for 10 years she was the literal face of Neutrogena Thayer. Neutrogena girl, clear skin, clean image, all-American smile, but she later admitted that image became a cage. She said she was always performing a version of herself, never photographed with a drink, never showing too much. Always the good girl. Then her real life got complicated in December 2014. She had a daughter, Kaya, with boxing champion Vladimir Klitschko. The birth was brutal. She reportedly needed several blood transfusions. A few months later, she was diagnosed with postpartum depression. She didn't know it yet, but she was about to say something on live TV that would quietly detonate her career. Here's what happened in 2015. Hayden went on live with Kelly and Michael. She wasn't there to discuss her mental health, but the conversation drifted there, and she was honest. She'd been diagnosed just months earlier that spring, so she talked about the reality of postpartum depression, how painful it is, how scary it is, how much support women actually need. To most people, that was brave. But according to Hayden, one company saw it differently. She says that soon after her phone rang, Neutrogena, she claims, wanted to fire her over a morals clause in her contract. Sit with that for a second. A morals clause for a diagnosed medical condition. She said it was the last thing she ever thought they'd fire her over. Her representative reportedly told the brand that firing her over postpartum depression would be illegal, and that year it worked. Neutrogena backed off, but Hayden said she already knew how it ended. She wasn't getting renewed, and after 10 years as their golden girl, she wasn't. For years, almost nobody knew this part. Then Hayden decided to tell it herself. This past May, she released a memoir, This Is Me, a reckoning. It pulled back the curtain on her addiction, her family, and the industry that raised her. In the book and on Jay Shetty's podcast, she finally laid out the whole Neutrogena chapter in her own words. She called it one more blow in a year that had already taken so much toll. Be clear, this was Hayden's account. For years, Neutrogena never confirmed any of it. When her comments first surfaced, people were angry. There was backlash, but it faded fast the way most internet outrage does. The world moved on. Hayden went back to promoting her work and rebuilding her life. She was sober, she was trying. And then just 3 months later, everything stopped. On Sunday, August 16th, Hayden Panettiere was found unresponsive in a Greenville, South Carolina apartment. Paramedics rushed in just before 2 in the afternoon. They tried to save her. They couldn't. She was pronounced dead at 2:31 p.m. She was 36. Her father, Skip, called her a force of nature. The coroner said she was in cardiac arrest with no signs of trauma or foul play. Her official cause of death is still under investigation, so we're not going to guess, but within an hour, something strange was already happening. Online, the grief was curdling into anger because fans suddenly remembered that Neutrogena story, and they had one question for the brand: where are you now? What Neutrogena did next is the part nobody saw coming. For 4 days after Hayden died, Neutrogena said nothing. No post, no statement, just silence, and the internet noticed. Fans buried the brand's pages under her name. A boycott exploded on Reddit. One post passed 5,000 upvotes. Searches for Neutrogena boycott reportedly spiked around 5,000% in 3 days. Tens of thousands piled on across TikTok. Her Nashville co-star Connie Britton mourned her publicly, calling the loss heartbreaking. And Real Housewives alum Carol Radziwill left 4 cold words on the brand's page: you deserve the hate. Then on Thursday, Neutrogena finally broke its silence. It posted a statement, and here's the line that stopped everyone. The company admitted it had made Hayden feel unsupported during a very difficult time. Read that again. This is the same company she says tried to fire her for being open about her mental health, and now they were praising her for her courage for sharing her story, the exact story they allegedly punished her for telling. The brand said it had stayed quiet out of respect for her family, but that's the cruel twist sitting at the center Of all this, they finally found the words to honor her honesty only after she was gone, and she'd never get to hear a single one of them, so the apology landed, but the anger didn't go away, and that's where things stand right now, because Neutrogena didn't stop at sorry. The company promised what it called a significant investment in women's health, including postpartum support. It said that money would go to a community health partner, but the details, how much and for whom, still haven't been shared. Some people see real change, others see damage control. Here's what makes this so much bigger than one celebrity. Postpartum depression affects an estimated 1 in 7 new mothers. It hit even harder because the subject was already in the news. A major court case involving postpartum depression had people paying close attention for generations. Women were told to hide this. Hayden didn't. She said it out loud when almost no one did, and she may have paid for it. There's one last detail that makes this almost unbearable. Hayden died on August 16th. 5 days later would have been her 37th birthday. She didn't make it, and the apology she waited years for came only after she was gone, and the pressure was real. Neutrogena's parent company, Kenvue, slipped about 2% the Monday after Hayden's death, but let's be fair, the company blamed weak sales, not the boycott, and the stock recovered soon after. Own honest moment. 10 years erased, and an apology that arrived too late to reach the only person who needed it. Whether Neutrogena keeps its promise is the next chapter, and people are watching closely. If you want to remember who Hayden really was, the actress, not just the headline, watch our full look back at her life and career next. And if you want stories told with care and backed by facts, subscribe. We're here every week. Thanks for watching.